Hey, this is Carla, and today I wanted to explore the mystical world of being a tangent manifester, or more popularly known as Clairtangency, to see if you have this intuitive skill or the potential for it. The Tavis Avara aptitudes feature in the novel Helio Tropez. The 5 main aptitudes of tangent, acrivant, voyant, audient, and sentient, or Tavis for short. This is a system to identify your extrasensory and sensory strengths and weaknesses. There's a quick quiz you can do to find out your dominant style. Just go to goldenagetimeline.com/free or go to the free tab and you'll see the quiz there. So in the novel, there is this 4th density world of Helio Tropez in Inner Earth. The people there have aptitudes, which might also be referred to as superpowers. In other words, humans have them, but many of these powers are latent, unused. But people can dial up on these kinds of skills just through being more aware of them and through focusing their mind on using their dominant style to manifest goals. For example, you can use the Tavis system to better manifest anything, from a parking space when you're out shopping, or a new successful business, or even a new way of looking at your life that's more empowering, all the way up to co-creating or co-manifesting the world you really want to see for yourself and others. One perhaps where people are free, living in harmony, prosperous, healthy, doing what they love, where the earth is whole, balanced, and healthy again. And the more we all see, feel, hear, and experience what we want through our imaginations, the more it comes into being. Even if just one person is doing it, it affects the whole collective. Now, the truth is, it's your imagination and intention that bring things into reality. But many of us were taught to think that imagination is something bad, like getting lost in delusions, not grounded in reality, or that imagination is something you only use when you're a child and that you must grow out of when you get older, if you want to be taken seriously as an adult. But your imagination and intention are 2 of the most powerful tools you own in your mental, emotional, and physical landscape. So don't ever forget that and use them with wisdom, or they can work against you. So these 5 Tavis manifestation styles are like the box of tools or maybe palette of colors you use when playing around in the world of imagination and intention. And we use them anyways. So this is just creating a system so that you can name and identify and become more comfortable and familiar with these latent abilities that we all have. So here it goes. The tangent manifester. So in terms of activities, you'll often see a tangent being physically active or restless, especially if they have to sit still for too long. So when it comes to the words they use, they might start a sentence with, "I feel." I feel good about that. Or I feel we need to do something different in this situation. Or they might say, the thought of that makes me feel good. Or I have a bad gut instinct about this. So think about whether you use words in that way. Greetings, they'll tend to do a more informal physical greeting, like a high five, a back slap, or a fist bump. They like physicality. They're not one of those standoffish kind of people. So the best way for tangents to learn, by moving. They aren't one for sitting at a desk for too long. They need to move to think properly. They get their best ideas when walking, running, moving around the house, or by doing activities. They prefer to learn a subject by doing a project, like creating a garden, to learn about plants rather than reading about it in a book. So in terms of the advantages of the regular sensory perceptions of tangents, they're good with their hands. They are grounded, reliable, salt of the earth types. Stable, honorable, connected to nature. Now, the disadvantages in extreme types that aren't balanced by the other styles is they might be very physically restless. They might even get physically aggressive if challenged, and they can be stubborn and uncompromising. But now say you were to develop your tangent aptitude beyond the everyday normal into what's called extrasensory perception. And there are a few people who can do these kinds of things. And as I said, there's a theory that we can all develop these regular sensory skills into the extrasensory realms. With tangents, it's called Clairtangency. So they can handle an object to get information not available to the five senses. For example, sometimes a clairtangent is used in detective work or a missing person situation where they would touch an article of clothing to help locate the person. Or they can do psychometry, where they can actually move objects with their mind or manipulate an object with their mind. I mean, you may have heard of people who can bend a spoon with their mind. So the best way for tangents to manifest is if they imagine being somewhere physically. So say you want to manifest a trip to Hawaii. You might feel yourself walking along the beach, feel the warm sun on your skin, feel how relaxed you are lying in a hammock, and move while you imagine. Move your body as you imagine physically connecting to your goal. So go for a walk, run, do Tai Chi, listening to a self-hypnosis audio, for example, as this will help your subconscious mind integrate your instructions about what to create. And types of professions where you might find a lot of people who are tangents: athlete, coach, dressmaker, gardener, waiter, logger, miner, farmer. So people who like to move while they work. Now in the novel Helio Tropez, the character of Cassandra is a tangent. She's got a certain nuance of that aptitude called the soul healer, and therefore can heal physical issues in people by accessing soul records to bring cells back to optimal functioning again. And of course, each character has their flaws, and in her case, she can physically harm others. And that's what clairtangents can do if they're using their aptitude, their superpower for negative purposes. Although in some cases, it helps to use that kind of power if you need to, say, protect yourself. You can get this Tavis Aptitudes ebook. You can do the quiz and then you'll see how balanced you are, and you'll also get a lot more details about all the different styles. And if you're into buying, collecting, and selling NFTs, you can get an NFT of this character and several other characters from the book Helio Tropez on Zora and Mint Fun and several other platforms. So I'll put a link below for that. And it's something I recommend everyone do who is an author. And if you'd like to know a bit more about Helio Tropez, stay for a short book trailer.
In a world where love, time travel, and psychic powers converge, prepare to embark on an extraordinary journey. The second edition of the captivating science fiction and epic fantasy novel, Helio Tropez, is now here, Book 1 of the Timeline Redemption series. Tia Violetta's life is about to unravel as she approaches her 30th birthday. Secluded in a Seattle mansion, protected by her paranoid father, she remains unaware of her true heritage and the looming threat to herself and all of humanity. Little does she know, Tia holds the key to something extraordinary, something that the malevolent AI, Sim, relentlessly pursues. Tia and her father, Haddon, are descendants of a subterranean city called Helio Tropez, with inhabitants possessing awe-inspiring abilities. Only by uniting with 4 other women in her family can Tia unleash her pentata powers and help free humanity from the clutches of the parasitic Sim who has kept them apart. But the story takes a heart-stopping twist. Just moments before old Haddon passes away, a young Haddon travels 50 years into the future to protect Tia. This selfless act sets in motion a series of events that shatter Tia's world, fracturing their reality into two separate timelines. As Tia and young Haddon navigate treacherous terrains across timelines, their journey tests their resilience and family bonds. Humanity's fate hangs in the balance, poised for ascension or annihilation. One reviewer says, "There is a metaphysical aspect that makes it so much more than just a good read. Fans of sci-fi fantasy will enjoy it for sure, but readers who seek depth will be thrilled to step out of the mundane and into this fascinating world. If you love rich and fascinating characters and compelling plot lines, this is for you." If you want to listen to a sample of the prologue, just click on the link below. And if you're ready to dive into the world of Helio Tropez, get your copy by using the link below or go on Amazon. It's spelled HELIOTROPEZ. Start today exploring this page-turning journey through time and through space.